How's it going again, everybody? It's Carpo here. I'm wearing the dog ears so you don't take me too seriously. I'll probably wear this when I want to be not taken seriously. However, of course, what I want to talk about here is a little bit serious to me. I think I want to make this as short as possible to get the point across. But it's just fresh in my mind, so I figure I'll spit it to the camera. I had, let's just say, a misunderstanding with somebody I know, recently. And at first we kind of spat back and forth and we ended up talking it out. And by the end, the issue was resolved through realizing the misunderstanding. And the misunderstanding was that something I said bothered them, and they picked at that one subject, and then after talking about it, we found out that it went back several years, that these are things that, we haven't resolved. After discussing apologies and saying, okay, now I get it, we can move forward. And this is something that is such a simple process for us to do if we're willing to forgive, forget, and get over our damn selves and our egos. Several years ago, when I was about 20 years old, I had a good friend steal from me. Around the same time, not too long after that, I had another friend steal from me. Both of them I ended up encountering afterwards, and I exchanged a few words, but generally left it at that. I'm not a violent person. Later in life, I've forgiven both of them. I hang out with one of them that's here, and we're good friends. And these things don't even come into my mind, what's happened in the past, because I've forgiven and forgot. The minute when they say forgive and forget, they don't mean forgive and forget. They mean forgive and you will forget. Because as soon as you've forgiven someone, that leaves your mind. Now, if I would have left this issue hanging recently here and just said, oh well, screw you, this is how I feel, then I would still feel in my gut that something's wrong. I felt that during our discussion, and the minute I sent the proper text of apology, it was over. It went away, because I knew what I needed and expected from myself. I think that we all have that gut feeling when we know we're doing right, and when we know we're picking on somebody, or when we know that somebody's picking on us, or we're harassed or harassing, or whether we're just maybe being misunderstood, which in this case it was a misunderstanding. And I think it's very important for us to talk things out so we can identify those misunderstandings. How many times, and in the digital age, this is more important than ever, how many times have you been texting back and forth with someone and ended up getting into a spat or an argument about a subject that's really irrelevant, but finding out later that it was just a misunderstanding about the verbal, because there's no verbal cues, and there's no way to look at a person and know when they're done, or what they mean, or whether their comment's finished, and the intentions behind it. So by asking people what they really mean, they will either explain themselves better, and this can go to YouTube as well, or any internet site. If a person says something that you find really offensive or is really totally wrong, ask them to clarify or to provide a source or an explain, and often then they will say, oh, this is what I meant. And it's much better than just attacking them and calling them an idiot, which I see a lot of online. And in the end, there will be 100 comment arguments where in the end they'll say, oh, okay, you have a good day, you too. I see we just misunderstood each other. And that's a lot of wasted time trying to prove ourselves. So, I got a little bit of arrogance sometimes when I know I'm right, and I try to suppress that by using my reason to rein that in. Sometimes I know a person is completely wrong about something, and for a fact I know they're wrong. But if you can't prove it right off, it's best to discuss it. Because no amount of yelling or harshing on a person or screaming in all caps has ever resolved a single thing. No political views have been changed because one person said the other side were idiots. No religious views have ever changed. No Christians ever left Christianity because an atheist says that you're believing in a delusional God and you're a fool. Nor has any atheist become a Christian because a Christian says you're going to hell. But yet these things continue, and this banter continues. And there's these repeated insults that we throw out, and sometimes things are just taken out of context. So I urge people to look a little deeper into what they say, but also in what others say to us, because so much energy is wasted on negativity. And you'll learn to identify a troll or a hater right off the bat. I have for example, been confronted by several people on YouTube who have called me every name in the book. I generally just let it go. If they keep harassing me, I block them because it's not worth the time or the energy to respond. And I'm happier for it. Yet at the same time, sometimes I do like to argue. And I find myself in a situation where I go, you did it again, you know? And that's okay too. We do that sometimes. I think that it's very important to realize that we are human. And sometimes we say things we don't mean or we don't understand. And that we're all trying our best. But don't worry about the people who are trying to get your energy. There's a lot of energy vampires out there who will suck you dry. Oh, that sounds bad. They really will. And you know, I have, for example, somebody asked me the other day, he says, who votes your videos down all the time? There's always this one guy that votes your videos down. And I noticed that this has been going on for years. I mean, it's always somebody different. But there's always somebody who votes my video down right away. It's like the first person who gets there. And I think there's a poor fellow who's so bothered by something that happened in the past that he doesn't want to discuss or resolve, that he spends his time just voting my videos down for the sake of doing it, which means he's subscribed to my channel just to click and vote down. And I feel sorry for people like that. You know, I've had trolls in the past who have actually had a dozen sock accounts, which are like secondary accounts, where they'd come and they'd vote down all my videos, like 10, 10, 10 for each one, first 10 thumbs down, as if I'm going to just give up, you know, and quit. I said, hey, I'm not out here to impress you. I'm not out here to get votes. I'm just here to talk about things. And that type of approach has really helped me personally to just not give a shit what people think, unless they have credibility and they're respectful. So I hope that opens a couple of doors for people. It's really helpful to me to forgive and forget. It's the most crucial thing, and we can really look at those old sayings and say there's something to it. You know, forgiving people is so important. And I know folks who still blame their parents for the way they are. I know people who blame the system for holding them down. And look, if you think the system's holding you down, then it is, okay? There's no way around that. If you say that the system's set up for us to fail, then you're going to fail. It's really important to realize that this same system also allows you to succeed. And you just have to take it by the reins. And I'm telling that to myself too, because I've always been poor, I've always been broke, but I'd love to have means to be able to do the things. Hell, I've always said if I was a millionaire, the first thing I'd do is start a festival, a local festival for free, where people could come and get together and join kind of a Burning Man type atmosphere. And there's so many people who want to do that out there. So, I don't know. It's just good to know good people that are willing to look past our slight differences and forgive people in your life. So think about one person in your life that you're upset with or that bothered you in the past, and just let it go. And I guarantee you'll be much happier for it.